CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
The man who's on trial accused of murdering a Victoria high school student says he thought the boy was part of a gang that was going to kidnap or kill him. He made the admission in a video interview played this morning in BC Supreme Court. Cory Barry is accused of second-degree murder in the stabbing death of 15-year-old Justin Wendland in June of 2010. The interview has not been released to the media, but the court has released surveillance video that was taken that night. It shows a man with a dog approaching the area where Wendland was waiting for a bus outside the Times Colonist building on Douglas. Later, the same man is seen running away. In the police interview, Barry says first that he thought Wendland was planning to hurt him, and then he concedes that it may have been mistaken identity. In an emotional moment in the interview, the officer asks Barry what he would say to Wendland's family. Barry responds, quote, "I'm sorry for taking him from you," end quote, before he collapses, sobbing uncontrollably. Barry has pleaded not guilty. The defense begins presenting its case on Monday. Police have now closed in on a man they believe was behind a rash of large-scale cigarette heists all over Vancouver Island and on the Lower Mainland. 46-year-old Christopher Sharafi from Langley was arrested in Courtenay after a 6-month investigation by the Regional Crime Unit. Police say he targeted store owners who made large cigarette purchases at Costco stores in Langford, Nanaimo, Burnaby, Abbotsford, Coquitlam, and as far as Kamloops. Mounties tracking him say he would follow those store owners, would wear a disguise, and then break into their vehicles and steal the cigarettes after they'd bought them.
It was a very challenging and complex investigation because of the number of thefts involved, the number of jurisdictions, and the fact that in each individual incident there was often very little, and in some cases nothing to go on. So we're just very pleased that this individual has finally been taken into custody, and I couldn't be more proud of the efforts of the investigators involved.
Sharafi's facing 13 charges ranging from mischief to possession of stolen property. Police say the value of the 28 cigarette thefts combined is more than $100,000. He remains in police custody, scheduled to appear in the West Shore courtroom, the courthouse in the West Shore, on Monday. Bad weather in southern Ontario has caused all kinds of problems. At least 7 people injured today, some critically after dozens of vehicles collided on a busy highway east of Toronto. Police say a harsh blast of winter is likely to blame for this multi-car pileup on the 401. A 10-kilometer stretch of the busy highway was closed so police could go car to car and make sure there were no victims inside. One driver had to be cut from his vehicle. There were dozens involved in the crash. A break came in the weather over the Antarctic today, allowing rescue crews to resume their search for 3 missing Canadians. Their plane crash-landed Wednesday. 2 previous rescue attempts have been hampered by poor visibility and blinding snow. The Canadians left the South Pole in a Twin Otter aircraft owned by a Calgary company, Ken Boric Air, heading for an Italian base in Terra Nova Bay. Now, if the search plane is able to land, crews will set up a base camp near the spot where there was a last detected transmission from the plane's emergency beacon. Another court decision, a judge has ruled that Rob Ford will remain the mayor of Toronto, at least for now. In November, a lower court ordered Ford removed from office after ruling that he was in a conflict of interest. Ford had taken part in a council vote over whether he should return $3,000 in donations to his football charity that he had solicited while he was a councillor.
I have enormous respect for the judicial system, and I'm very, very thankful for the decision it made today.
My hope is that the mayor is chastened by this new lease on life that he has a different approach to governing.
In today's decision, the higher court said that the council had no authority to force Ford to pay back the money, saying it required him to pay back money he never received personally. The lawyers who brought the case say they're considering appealing it to the Supreme Court of Canada. Members of a Victoria Make That a Saanich nonprofit society broke ground today on the new Horticulture Centre of the Pacific. The new building is expected to be open in 8 months. It'll be called the Mel Kuebler Pavilion, named after the former cabinet minister and Saanich mayor who helped raise money for the original garden and horticulture college. You may recall it was destroyed by fire in early 2011, and it's taken 2 years to raise the money for a new one.
The combination of being one of the original founders of this place and B, literally up to the week of his death, trying to raise money for the realization of the project seemed only appropriate that we name it after him.
It's quite unique. It's It's a people place, even though the focus is on horticulture, but it's really about the people that come here and the people that volunteer here. They really do connect with the natural environment, and it's such a beautiful setting.
The new building on the 105-acre property will have about 200 square meters of space designed to host weddings and corporate events, which are its main source of income. The building will cost $1.5 million. Some of the money will be borrowed. The rest will be covered by insurance and fundraising. The driver of a courier truck was killed in a crash on Highway 4 just outside Port Alberni today. It happened this afternoon on the hump when his truck collided head-on with a BC Hydro truck. The Ace courier truck was heading into Port Alberni when it crossed the center line. The woman who was driving the Hydro truck suffered serious injuries, but they are not considered life-threatening. She was taken to West Coast General Hospital for treatment.
Investigation is ongoing. Unable to say at this time what the status of the eastbound driver is, but there is one person who has deceased at this point.
RCMP crash analysts were at the scene for several hours. 26-year-old Jazz Parmar of Nanaimo has now been identified as the driver killed. Parmar was a graduate of Nanaimo District Secondary School and was working for the family courier business. His friends and family are gathering at his parents' Nanaimo home tonight.